do that later.
Yeah, thank you. That's a good question. I wanted to talk a little bit about how the tickets get to those groups, just so you understand what might happen to your ticket when you call the help desk. I'm sorry, you can see that? Yeah, it's good in my track. Okay. So we have a user calls, reports an incident. It's very high level. Help desk agent opens a ticket, works the ticket, triages it, troubleshoots it. If the agent resolves it, it's resolved, and that's a first contact resolution. If the agent can't resolve the ticket, the agent refers it to a referral group. So let's take an example. Let's say this goes to Infrastructure Support Services, formerly known as USS. So Mark Smith and those guys. If the help desk can't handle it, it'll go to them. They'll troubleshoot it. If they can resolve it, then the ticket's resolved. If they can't do it, they'll send it along to whoever they need to, say maybe Microsystems. So we'll get down to a second referral group. So right in our lingo, we call this tier 1, we call this tier 2. Oh, sorry, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. But those are kind of misnomers, and we're trying to get away from that because your ticket can also go from here to this group. It just depends on what the instructions are and what the issue is that's being reported. And again, the help desk has to have all that information to know where to send that particular issue. Any questions on that?
Dave, so there used to be a dedicated group of people that were kind of tier 2, and I get the, like 5 years ago I knew them by name, but now they're kind of floaters. Is that appropriate? I mean, is there a group still that is tier 2, and how big is the group?
Yeah, it depends. So for enterprise infrastructure, there is a dedicated group. Steve's here, Steve Patesville in the back is part of that group. Mark Smith, Richard Burdell, Stacy Hughes is new to the group. She was over at the law school. Don Sprouse is in that group as well. And we're going to add one more here in the near future. So that's a dedicated group. Now that is enterprise infrastructure. On the SIS and IS side, they have their own tier 2 groups as well. So if you call in about an IS issue, you might get somebody at tier 2 or somebody at tier 3. It just depends on what it is. And they don't have a single group. They have people for each function in the integrated system. So if you have a grants question, it goes to tier 2 grants.
Modules.
Right, so it depends on the modules. I don't know how familiar everybody is with the integrated system.
And those people on the SIS and IS side, what you refer to as a referral group, when they're here at UVA?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right, the procurement questions, tier 1 is the help desk, tier 2 is our department.
Okay.
And then we sort them out based on, well, there's even other groups, but they come to us and we sort them based on what the question's about, whether it's PO or whether it's an invoice or a vendor or a...
Okay.
That's basically how it works. Obviously, referral groups can assign to each other. So if something gets to the wrong place, they can reassign it to another group. But that's the basic flow. So what's always interesting is, the help desk is one piece of all of this. So I know sometimes the frustration is, I don't know where my ticket is in all of this. Who has my ticket right now? And so, that's definitely a frustration. So we're actually working on that.
Dave,
Yeah.
does anybody analyze the content of the referrals for repetition and similarity so that receptionist gets trained better? Or is that a contract we need to speak?
No, actually, that's something I probably would end up doing. Well, it happens. So the answer is yes, but it doesn't. It's not something we do on a daily basis. It's usually something that comes up like in August we had exchange issues. So the question is, how many people are calling about exchange issues, and what are they calling about? So it usually ends up being that kind of a discussion, more of a root cause analysis discussion. The help desk will tell us if on a regular, if on a particular day they're getting a bunch of calls about something, so we can either divert them or or put up a message or something like that. But so right now that analysis doesn't happen on a regular basis.
I know that's something in our department that if we are continually getting calls about one thing, something's constantly being bumped to us,
Yeah.
then we'll give them the feedback as well and say, somebody has to tell them how to do this, to teach the users how to do this, because this shouldn't be a tier 2 thing.
Right.
The user can do this themselves, so let's train the help desk.
That's a good point. We do get that as well from the referral groups.
Yeah, I'm not so much concerned about, the exchange server's gone wonky again,
Yeah.
and it'll be fixed tomorrow, as I am about, this is something that apparently the help desk doesn't know,
Right.
Mm.
and we
Right.
can make them aware.
And that's what
Right.
what precipitates all these
Yeah.
things.
We usually hear that more from the referral groups because they're going to get a bunch of tickets and they say to themselves, we don't really need to be answering these. Somebody has handled it too long. So they're usually doing more of that kind of analysis than
I have a quick question,
we are.
and it's based to the Outlook servers bunk again. I know within the UVA LSP list, a lot of times we're sort of the forefront of finding out, oh, that system's down. And so then the message goes through ITS, well, the LSPs are saying, hey, that system's down, go check it out. Do you guys have a relationship that's established with I guess it's the communications group for system status? If you're getting calls into the help desk, or is there any sort of...
Can we talk about that? We'll table that one and talk about it. I don't actually
Okay.
have that in my presentation, but we can talk about that at the end.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good question.
I just see it on the
recently.
email. I see it on our LSP email
Yeah.
list that we're sort of the first people that tend to know the system's down, and
Right.
I'm wondering if you guys have the same sort of issue and we can leverage best practices for how to get the
Yeah,
information on the website as accurate as possible, as fast as possible.
Actually, I will cover that when we get to
Okay.
Yeah, there's a bit of a chicken and an egg problem with issues like that. So who hears it first and how does it get reported? I'll talk about that. We'll get to a slide here. All right, so I wanted to start with I have a Mythbuster here. I don't know if you're familiar with the show Mythbusters.
Yes.
It's kind of a science show, but it's pretty much a wacky science show, and they have a lot of fun. And they take commonly accepted theories. Most of them are sort of scientific in nature, and they try and prove or disprove them. So, for example, they said, here are questions they've tackled. Can combining Diet Coke and Mentos make your stomach explode? Right? So we've all heard this. Or the Pop Rocks one, right? Would a bull really cause destruction in a china shop? Is it possible to beat the lie detector test? Can plugging your finger in a gun barrel cause it to backfire? These are all things you've always wanted to know, right?
With your finger.
Your finger, yeah. I don't know, put your finger. Is there a way to beat police speed cameras? That's good information. Can Christmas tree lights really cause house fires? Is a dirty car more fuel efficient than a clean car? Okay. So anyway, you get the idea. It's a pretty fun show. So the first myth I have is agents are paid more for tickets resolved at the help desk. What do you think? Are agents paid more for tickets that are resolved at the help desk?
I don't think the agents are, but I thought that there was a correlation between the feedback given on the surveys and the amount that the company was going to get paid.
Anybody else?
We have an SLA with Perceptus, as I recall, and if, for example, they were resolving over a 5-month period only 20%, I suspect they would get paid less. Not the individuals, but the company. That's my belief.
That's a good answer. So I think there's a third. I said busted, but
Isn't that what I said?
is that what you said?
I think that's what I said.
Yeah, that's right.
He was all more technical about it.
Zeke's right.
Yeah, wasn't that SLA? Jeez. That's right. Ask him, Jeff. He wants to know what the Symbionese
Liberation Army has to do with it.
That's what we're shooting.
So